Hi, we're live. Yay!
Hi, everybody.
I'm with my good friend, Nikkea Devida of Outsourced COO. And today we're going to be, really talking about things that really affect you in your business. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed or have what I call PFM, pants on fire, you're a person, or if you ever felt challenged, like what to do first in your business or how to keep things organized and what you should be doing, or you felt overwhelmed with any of the aspects of the systems in your business. And we're also going to talk a little bit about following up, since that is the biggest entrepreneurial F-bomb for everybody. So it's my intention today that in this interview, Nikkea and I cause a breakthrough for you in your business around whatever your big freaking problem is in operating the business. And so I want to welcome you to Real, Raw, and Relevant, where successful entrepreneurs share their experience, strength, and expertise to help you build a business and life that you love. And I'm Bennett, Renegade Branding, where we help you to build an authentic brand and a messaging that expresses who you truly are so that you can have fun and profits in your business and be visible and make an impact. So, Nikkea, thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure.
Awesome. I'm going to read your bio. I know that you've been in business for quite some time, and I'm always impressed by these incredible bios that people send me.
We actually don't have to, because I can just kind of give you the lowdown too.
Yeah, let me just say a few things about you.
Sure.
You're really, really fascinating. I love it when we can tell people, backgrounds a little bit, or what you did before you became this incredible mentor for business owners. So, Nikkea is a business mentor and a coach who is best known for successfully monetizing people's businesses and really organizing them in such a way. She helps to strategize and organize so you can prioritize and optimize. I feel like Dr. Seuss. That's so awesome. Your business and really get the most out of the time that you spend and the resources that you spend on your business. She really covers the day-to-day workings of a business and has been, the chief operating officer and COO for many, many people that out in the guru space and in the expert space. Some of them are, I'm going to see if I can remember them, Lisa Sasevich, T.R. Becker, got a few other ones too as well. But a lot of people who have really large businesses come to her. She's kind of known as the secret weapon, getting your business organized and really making really, really good money. So it's great for a entrepreneur, whether they're starting out, whether they're in the mid part of their business or they're really skyrocketing, to work with Nikkea, because she really can put everything together for you so that it's working and you're not in that sense of entrepreneurial overwhelm. What do I do first? What am I wasting my time on? That bright, shiny object thing that you don't want to be involved in. And the thing that really impressed me about you is that you were in the Air Force. You were in the Air Force. A woman in the Air Force. So that's kind of wild and really interesting. You want to tell us a little bit about that before we get started on kind of the teaching aspect?
Well, sure, we can do that. And if it's okay, and I know you love to be irreverent, so do I. I think, are all your guests have like funky hair? I'm not sure, but anyway. So what I like to share with people is that my background is full of a lot of BS. Not the kind you're thinking, although there's plenty of that too that we can talk about at a separate issue. But the first BS is that I'm a born singer and a born systemizer. And so I have both the analytical and the creative ability, and I can systemize and organize anything. And as you mentioned, I was in the Air Force, but then the BS around that is I got a Bachelor of Science at the Air Force Academy, and then I was an Air Force officer where I was negotiating and managing about $200 million worth of contracts at the age of 22. I also received the Secretary of Defense Superior Management Award from the Secretary of Defense as being one of the best top project managers in the military. When I got out of the military, the next BS is business systems, where I was working with companies like Disney, a pharmaceutical company, a publishing company, a software development company, where similar to in the Air Force, I was doing systems, operations, logistics, supply chain management, project management at a very high level. And even though that sounds really cool, I was very successful in both careers. And what's relevant too is that even though everything looked good on the outside, on the inside, there was a lot of stuff going on that I wasn't able to resolve fully. And as I was going through my own personal transformation, when I was sitting in the room with other transformational leaders such as Harbecker, Lisa Sasevich, Allison Armstrong, and Fusionsoft, and so forth, the next BS is that behind the scenes, when they found out about my background, I was learning from them on how to be an entrepreneur. And then when they found out about my background, they hired me to help systemize and organize their businesses so they can scale and grow. And so that's a little bit of my BS for now. I'll share more with you as we go through, but that's a little bit about my background and how I got to be an outsourced COO, helping other organizations systemize and organize and prioritize and even automate your systems and processes so you can be more productive and more profitable.
Yeah, I think that's what we all want. Right?
Yes.
That's what we all want. And whatever level, I know that you speak to, people at certain levels of business should have certain organizations. So they have a foundation, and then the next level, they have the next foundation, and how we, a lot of us get in trouble with our businesses or feel like, gosh, I feel like I'm hustling and working hard all the time and I don't have anything to show for it. It's because we don't have those specific foundational pieces for wherever we are in our business.
Correct, in the right phase. So to recap what you just mentioned, which is so true, there are certain phases of business. There's 5 phases, and it's proper there are certain things in each phase that you need to put in your infrastructure and your foundation before you move to the next phase, and then the next phase, and the next phase. So what happens is when you work on something, say in phase 3, but you haven't completed all the items you need to focus on in phase 1, that's where we run into trouble, where when you're implementing the wrong systems in the wrong phase, then you end up working way harder because you haven't put in the right foundation. And so the bottom line for all of us as entrepreneurs is that we want to, what I call, win the entrepreneurial game. And there is what I call the entrepreneurial trifecta for us to do that, which means we want to make all the money we want to, right? We want to have all the time that we want to, and we want to have the fulfillment in our businesses that we want to. So that time, money, and fulfillment factor are really important. And in order to do that, to have it all as an entrepreneur, to win the game, we need the right systems in the right order, in the right phase of our business, because if we do things out of order in the wrong phase, we're going to be spinning our wheels, trying too hard. We don't have the right momentum to move us forward into that high growth and high profit area of a business that really is that sweet spot.
Right. I think, what you're touching on is that whole thing about if you feel like you're spinning your wheels or you're doing a lot of work and a lot of stuff you're going up into like making money and then you're dropping and you're going up and you're dropping. It's that whole thing that drives right. That can really change when you have the proper system. So at least I think of it as like going to the gym. At least you're doing the thing that you need to do every day. You're concentrating on those things in your business that are actually creating money. And you're also setting some systems, simple systems together as you go along. Of course, as you develop and have more money to invest, you can, hire people and do something a little more complex.
Right.
A lot of us are running ahead, right? We're running ahead of the organization. So, what do you think? Why do you think that people don't slow down and actually build a plan around what it is they're doing? Do you have any thoughts about that or tips for people as they start out?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's a lot more fun to focus on those really sexy items that we lose track of some of those fundamentals that we need to implement. And let's face it, putting in some of those fundamentals is hard work. It's not always easy, but if we don't do that initially and we start to work on those other fun things, it's like building a house without a solid foundation. If you start building the roof before you pour the foundation, it's not going to work so well. The same thing when we start working on really cool things like social media marketing or things like that, if we haven't built in our basic follow-up systems first, for example, an opt-in to our database so that we're building our list and then really taking care of the people who are on our list with the proper follow-up to nurture them, to educate them, to want to do business with us and so forth. If we don't have that basic infrastructure in place, especially our database and our basic follow-up system, where how many of you have gone to networking events, or maybe you're a speaker and you've done a lot of speaking, you get all these business cards, you're all excited, and then what happens? Well, maybe nothing. You still have that stack of business cards sitting in a pile that you're going to get to someday, but you spent all that time and money and energy in your business going out networking, going out speaking, and you still have all that follow-up to do that maybe you followed up with some of them, but did you really maximize that follow-up? On average, it takes 7 to 11 touches to get someone really interested in who you are and what you do and how you can help them improve their life in whatever expertise that you have. So that if you don't have an automated system of follow-up that takes care of maybe 7 to 11 touches, you're probably not optimizing the conversion that you can to make sure that your pipeline is filled in a sustainable way and that you're nurturing people through that process to be excited to know, like, and trust you and want to do business with you. So that's one thing. And a lot of people, go ahead.
One of the biggest things I think is that people think that they're bothering people, or they make a couple of phone calls. I don't know what the statistics are. You might know them. But most people only make a couple of calls, and you're here you're talking about 7, 8, 12. It's an ongoing process of really getting to know someone and having someone get to know you, and then figure out, well, is this a good fit? Is this the right person? Do I have what they need, and are we simpatica in working together? And most entrepreneurs, and myself included sometimes, I don't do as much reaching out. I hear from a lot of people, they feel like, oh, I get a deluge of emails. I hate that. I don't want to bother people. All that kind of, you're really good, Nikkea, with limiting beliefs as well, which I think is what keeps most entrepreneurs in a slower build category, is if they don't have kind of a simple system and then they've got these conflicting messages in their brain going off, it makes it very difficult.
Yeah, I'd be happy to speak to that a little bit. And there's an equation that I use called the accelerated results equation. And the equation is that your beliefs lead to your thoughts, which lead to your feelings, which lead to your actions, which equal your results. So if you're not getting the results as an entrepreneur or in your life, if you're not optimizing that entrepreneurial trifecta of time, money, and fulfillment, then you really need to go to the left of the equation, to the A, which is actions. So obviously, if you take different actions, you get different results. But there's some things going on in that action category. One of them is, what if you don't know the right actions to do? Then that's knowledge and education and information. That's where you need to get the right information on what are those right things to do in my business in the right stage, in the right phase, so that you're building that right foundation. Then sometimes people do know the right actions to take, but they're not doing them. Well, what do you do then? That's when you go all the way to the left of the equation, to the B for beliefs, that your beliefs are holding you back from taking that right action so that you can get the right results. So it really is a dance as an entrepreneur. And I have found that this juggling act between up-leveling your beliefs and your mindset, along with up-leveling your actions and doing the right things in your business, those really need to happen in tandem, hand in hand, as you grow yourself as an entrepreneur, as you move through those phases and stages of your business, as you get more and more successful, more and more revenue, and so forth, more and more visibility, that they're both necessary to get the results that you say that you want as an entrepreneur. And one of the BS's that I systemize is belief systems. So I have a process that I've created and have been doing for the last 20 years, actually, called ACT, Accelerated Change Template, that I've systemized the process to reprogram your subconscious beliefs as easily as editing a word processing document. You edit, you save, and you're done. You can actually reprogram your subconscious beliefs in an average of 2 to 5 minutes, guaranteed, with a system called ACT. And why I was so emphatic in developing this system, part of it was for myself, because as I mentioned, when I got out of the military and all that and became an entrepreneur, I didn't have the right mindset. I was dealing with some of my own personal development issues. And so when I was relentless in finding the right system to do this for myself, I spent tons and tons of money on different processes and methodologies and things like that. I even became certified in many different modalities like hypnosis and NLP, and about 12 different modalities I was a certified trainer or practitioner of. And ultimately, I wanted to make sure that it was the best system. So I synthesized all of those things into the system called ACT to reprogram the subconscious beliefs. Why that's so important is that our subconscious mind is responsible for 99.99995% of the results that we get in our life are driven by the subconscious mind and our subconscious beliefs. So naturally, I wanted to optimize the best system in the world to be able to reprogram those subconscious beliefs so you could accelerate to move through any blocks that you had in limiting beliefs very, very quickly, so that we can then take the action that you know to do to drive those results in your life. So that's one of the many systems that I've created.
Yeah, I love that you have really systematized that in such a way, because there's so many modalities, right? There's so many ways that you can do that, and it becomes like everything else in terms of systemizing and all of that.
Yeah.
We're all looking for the most effective, simplest, easiest way to get from point A to point B. And I know from my own studies in growth and development, I always say, creating a business is the biggest growth and development program you're going to do.
Hands down. Absolutely.
Children is the other one that will bite you in the ass, right? So, and I agree with you. It's the 99.999%, and it's back here where you don't even know. You don't even know you have limiting beliefs. We're all like, I'm great, and I'm moving forward, and I love what I do, and I'm really, conscientious, and I'm confident. And then it's like the result isn't really reflecting that level, right?
For sure. And a lot of us have limiting beliefs around really getting ourselves out there in a big way with visibility, as well as charging what we're worth, and getting support, getting help, getting out of that I have to do it all myself, and really trusting that other people can do things as well or better than you. Those tend to be some really big mindset issues, even technology. A lot of us as entrepreneurs and as experts, we're good at what we do, but if we're building this combination online, offline business, we have to embrace technology. So I find that that tends to be an area that we need to kind of get over ourselves as well. I know that was a big one for me.
Yeah, me too. I'm always educating myself on that.
And if we don't overcome those hurdles, we're going to be stuck. And that's going to keep us from focusing on the right things in our business in the right stage. So if it's okay, and I'd love to give some insight into what are those things we should be focusing on.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Some specifics on what to focus on at what level would be.
Okay. What's important for everyone to understand is really there are only 3 critical functions of business. The first one is to get business. That's your sales and marketing. And then the other one is to do business. That's the operations, taking care of your clients. Maybe your new product development is doing business. And then the last one is keeping score. That's the admin. That's the metrics and the accounting, so that you have things in place so you know how you're doing, almost like your entrepreneurial dashboard, so that you can see how are you measuring up to the goal that you set for yourself in terms of what you wanted to manifest. So how are you doing along the way? Given that there are only 3 functions of business: get business, do business, keep score. There's research that demonstrates as a successful business, you should be spending a certain amount of time, a certain percentage of your time each day, each week on those different areas. So what I'd love to have everyone do as a little exercise right now is just jot down what percentage of your time do you spend in each of those areas. Get business, that's the sales and marketing. Do business, taking care of your clients, possibly creating new products or programs for your clients to jump into, and then keep score. And of course, the numbers have to add up to 100%.
Right.
So go ahead and jot that down, because, and do it on a weekly basis, because day to day things might change, right? So on a weekly basis. So you want to know the ideal percentage of time that successful businesses spend. Ready?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. The get business, you should be spending 65% of your time on the revenue generating activities of your business. 65. Doing business should be only 25. That's taking care of clients. So whether it's delivering your programs, your products, your services, if you're doing one-on-one coaching, it includes that, 25%. Keeping score should be only 10%. Most people have this way out of whack.
That's all turned around.
And so with your sales and marketing, which of course you know, and as a branding expert and so forth, 65% of your time should be spent in sales and marketing. Well, when you think about what has to happen in order for you to spend 65% of your time, let's kind of think of an example where, what are some of the revenue generating activities in your business? Well, you could do strategy sessions. You could do speaking engagements. You could be preparing for speaking engagements. You can be making outbound calls, either to get speaking engagements, to book clients, or to cultivate referral partners or joint venture partners or strategic alliances. You could be writing copy for your marketing, or your blog, your e-zine or programs. You can go out networking, things like that. Those are things that are revenue generating activities. So what are the things that are the operations of your business? Your client sessions, or leading a program or a training call, or preparing for a client session or a training call, or maybe creating a new product or program. Those are the doing of your business. What are the admin things of your business? Meeting with your team, onboarding new clients, returning phone calls, scheduling meetings and appointments, checking your emails, doing social media posts, checking your mail, paying your bills or invoices, running errands, preparing reports. Those are all admin type things to do.
And
And when you really think about, go ahead.
You were saying the admin part should be 10%, right?
10. And a lot of people, when you really break down, and I have some, cool webinar slides that I show that on average, just doing those things is about 66 hours per week. And it works out to about 26 hours of the revenue generating, 10 hours of the coaching and directly working with clients, and about 30 hours keeping score, which is way out of whack with the numbers. Most people spend max like 35 to 40% in marketing, only maybe 15% in client onboarding and taking care of clients. And it's more like 45 to 50% in the admin, which is way out of whack. So what you have to do is you need to delegate and automate many of the admin type activities that we do. When we're able to delegate and automate those things, that's our only prayer to actually get our work week to maybe around 40 hours a week and in the right percentages. You, as the entrepreneur, need to be focused on only those revenue generating activities and taking care of your clients. Everything else needs to be systemized, organized, and automated at the highest level to have a prayer of maximizing that entrepreneurial trifecta, having the money, the time, and the fulfillment in your business so that you have a life that you love in addition to a business that you love and making the impact in the world that you say that you want to. Does that make sense?
Right. And I think, that's what everybody wants.
Yeah.
Like
and I get that it's easier said than done, but that's what I love to do too.
Yeah, and I know that that's what you're a major expert at. So I just wanted to say, that you are going to be giving some gifts to people today,
Yes.
which is awesome in those kind of categories. So you've got the accelerated breakthrough. Oh, you're giving a session? Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, before we get to that, let me give just a couple of pointers on giving people a little bit of feel for what can they start to systemize and delegate and automate right out of the bat, where you're at right now. What's that?
What are the first things that people should do? Because I know most of my clients are starting out, and even people that are making six figures, a lot of times they're just doing kind of the wrong thing.
Yeah, I'm happy to share that. And as a mindset in getting yourself prepared for this whole conversation in your business, one of the things that's important to get your head around is I tend to delegate the keep score activities, the admin first, because many of those activities you can delegate to someone who is a much lower dollar per hour person to hire right out of the gate. So you want to get rid of those because an hour is an hour. Why not delegate an hour of something that someone can do for $10 to $15 an hour versus $50 or $60 an hour, right? So focus on the lower dollar per hour activities first, and any repetitive task or project that takes you more than 10 to 15 minutes to complete. 10 to 15 minutes. You should start. Now listen, I know. So listen to this. 10 to 15 minutes. You should be systemizing it and delegating it or automating it. If you don't, that's where most of your time gets just sucked down because you're like, oh, it's just 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to do it myself. Wrong attitude. Be thinking that's the exact thing that you should be handing off to someone else, because when you really think about, and this is part of my training and part of my free gift that I'm going to give to everybody, I'm going to teach you in my free gift really how to begin that process of creating standard operating procedures or SOPs for yourself and the mindset around that. So one of my free gifts is that training so that you can do that for yourself. Yeah. So now let's talk about very quickly, what should you be systemizing and automating? First is your follow-up. So when you get that business card, you need to have a way that you can get them very quickly into some kind of follow-up campaign, ideally one that is automated, to nurture the relationship so that they would like to, so that they get to know, like, and trust you, and potentially would like to take advantage of the gifts and the expertise that you have to offer. So your follow-up, remember, 7 to 11 times is on average what you need to even get their attention. Everyone is so busy and so inundated with so much information. To cut through that noise and to be top of mind when they're actually ready to do business with you, you want to be right there in front of them when they are ready. And so that's where you need that follow-up campaign first. The next one is your lead generation. So that you're not going in those ebb and flow or those hit or miss and those roller coaster pipeline scenario, you want to really get that lead generation system automated and dialed in your business, so you're not having that feast or famine cycle. So your lead generation, your lead capture. So if you have an opt-in, a way to have them opt into your database, and if you don't have a database, that's one of the absolute very first things that you need to implement in your business. You need to have a database. I personally use Infusionsoft. I'm also an Infusionsoft certified partner that I help people get implemented into that system. And I'm able to literally, the campaigns that I've created in my business, I as a partner can just move them right into your application with Infusionsoft, or transfer you into Infusionsoft for your lead capture, your lead nurture, your prospecting processes. All of those things are the first things that you need to make sure that you're systemizing and organizing and automating in your business. And
I think, any type of automation like Infusionsoft, Aweber,
one shopping cart.
But I like to use less annoying CRM. There's a lot of different, and
yes.
even paper and pencil can work for people. It's not quite as efficient in the sense that you can't pass it off, right? Like when you put it on your computer, you can pass it off to somebody else. But a lot of people even today like to keep track of, here's my clients on a spreadsheet. It's printed out. I know who they are.
That's fine. That's fine to do that. But remember, on your marketing side, to nurture people to want to do business with you, that's on your client side. But in your lead and your sales pipeline, we can't possibly juggle that manually. So if we've not created some sort of system or process that we can interact with, that our team members can interact with, and hopefully that we've automated, we're never going to get to that 65% of our time to work on the revenue generating activities of our business. We're always going to be behind the power curve if we don't implement some systems, processes, and technology to automate that. We're just not going to get out of that foundation stage to get into those growth stages. That's really where the money and the profit is. If we're not implementing those systems at the foundation of our business, unfortunately, we're always going to be in startup, and we're never going to get into the sweet spot in that entrepreneurial cycle.
Yeah, that's excellent. Excellent point. So thank you so much for offering these 3 amazing gifts. And
so let me share what those gifts are and where you can get them. Okay?
Go ahead.
So where you can go to get those gifts, and you can see my follow-up campaign as well, is you can go to www.fastresultsformula.com/ANN, ANN, in lowercase letters. So fast, FAST, results, RESULTS, formula, FORMULA.com/ANN, ANN, in lowercase letters. You're going to be able to go into my landing page, which is my opt-in page, and then you can enter your information to get the gifts. You're going to see my follow-up campaign that is automated, so you can see how this works. And there's 3 gifts there. And one of them is an opportunity to apply for an accelerated breakthrough session directly with me, so that you can take the next best move in your business. So it's a very strategic conversation on what is the most strategic thing that you can do to have a breakthrough in your business and your life, where we're going to really take a deep dive into what's going on in your business, where are you stuck, and we'll find the right system that will get you unstuck in that area so you can move forward in a big, powerful way. So if anything I've said resonates with you, you go ahead and take advantage of that opportunity to apply for the strategy session. Right. Then the next gift that I have for you is the SOP creation process. It's how to create your standard operating procedures for your business and your life. And so it's the process for how to create processes. So I'm giving that away for you so that you can get started in doing this for yourself to free up your time in your own business. And then, of course, I have an e-zine called the Accelerated Results Tips e-zine that gives you tips and tricks on how to accelerate the results in different areas of your business and your life. So those are the free gifts that I have for you. The complimentary breakthrough session is a $750 value that I'm giving away because I love Anne, and part of the lead generation in my business is to have these conversations with people. It's not a pitch fest. It's not a sales conversation. Now, if it happens to be at the end of the conversation that there's a way that you'd like to move forward, of course, then I would be happy to move forward with you. But that session is a real value directly for you to give you some valuable insight into what you should be focusing on next in your business to have a big, powerful breakthrough. So that's my gift to you for being here today.
Which is totally awesome. And thank you so much for being with us today. I know there'll also be a link below if you guys have any comments, questions for me, or questions for Nikkea on what you should be working on. You know, put it in the comments below, and we'll both be checking back to answer any questions for you. And thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure, Anne. Always good to see you. And thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. And remember, it's smart to fit in, but it's brilliant to stand out. So go out there and build your business. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.